Hi there, so welcome to the second tutorial in this series where we are creating our character. In this one we are going to create the front pose in which we're going to be looking slightly down. Okay, so first things first, a couple of things we need to keep in mind. We need to keep all of these relative to each other. So we don't want to be creating something that's too big or too small, so that when they're next to each other they appear oversized. So to do that we need to measure out a couple of sizes. So first thing we're going to do is create a new layer, and we're going to create a 16 by, not centimeter, but 32 centimeter pixel px selection with the marquee tool. And from that we're just going to go edit stroke 1 pixel. I'm going to turn that opacity right down. Now this will show us where our middle ground is. Okay, so Control D. What we'd like to do now is draw the width of the hat. So create a new layer, get your pen tool, and what we're going to do is create 2, 4, because we want them to be equal. So we just need to get a sort of clear idea how far, because I think this hat is 1 pixel bigger at the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. So we do want it to be equal. Okay. Now we want the tip of our hat to reveal itself up here. We will have to sort of go one round. We will make that smaller though. And as we are working sort of as a top-down sort of isometric style, we want to sort of reveal how far back we're going to go, what's the depth, and then from that we're going to also measure out the body. I think that should be enough. And then again with the head, I think the head's only going to reveal itself a tiny bit because it is really tucked under the hat, and we only really need to get an impression of where that is. So if we just sort of gain the full width, yeah, okay, and maybe a bit of a chin, and again it's just a case of sort of showing where the body is going. It should be around there. Okay, and then you can just put a couple of diagonals in, so we can hide our layer underneath for now. I'll turn that one on. We don't want to do that. And just sort of copy these up. And our last two. Now you have a sort of clear impression of where we're going to go. Now what we want to do is obviously use this as reference for colour. We want to be aware of the light that's coming in, so it's coming from this angle again as with the other assets. So the lighter side should be here. Now this needs to be circular, so what we're going to do is just draw round, okay, up to about there, and it's going to be a lot of sort of just picking away at these colours, so bear with me. So select our previous layer, we'll select the next slightly darker purple, and we're just going to bring that round like that, or maybe make it a little bit more flat. Okay, to give that idea that, you know, we're looking down on this thing. So yeah, we have that, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, but this time we're going to pick my darkest. In fact, actually, no, what we're going to do to speed up the process, we're going to do half, and then we're going to duplicate it over, and then we'll just change some of the shadings. Okay, that will be the speediest process to do. So let's bring our layer back up, and now we're just going to paint the skin for the body up. I think that will be enough of the face to show, given that it is so far in reality underneath the hat. And I think we might have to actually bring this a little bit forward. So just get the eraser and we'll take some of that back. And obviously we can rework this stuff later on as well if we need to. So this time we're now going to go in and we're going to select the lightest colour blue, and this time we are going to draw around that, and again with the body we're just going to draw that sort of curve round that we would expect to see, and again we're just sort of going to paint round here like this. Okay, that's how we would expect the light to fall. And then we're going to bring up our previous one again, so it's slightly darker blue, hide that layer underneath, and then we're going to just paint this on. Okay, and fill in these sections here. So again we've got that idea that the light's coming down from this side angle in front of us to our right, and we've got these areas sort of flowing around it, which is what we want. Okay, so once we've got that, what we're going to do is maybe get a little bit of the hair colour and paint that on. Obviously we've got some shadow for the face, which is here, and maybe that's a bit too dark. Okay, so what we're going to do is get the eraser tool, and we're just going to delete the remainder of these sort of oranges that we no longer need. And what we're going to do is duplicate this layer, push Ctrl T, and we're just going to drag it across and then go up to this window here. Don't push enter yet, and type -100, and we're just going to see how that feels. Okay, obviously we need to add the shadow in on the other side, but that's okay for now. We're just going to change our style to normal, select the whole image, Ctrl Shift C, and we're going to take it into our sprite sheet and compare it against our other character here, our other sprite, and I think actually the sizings are okay. Obviously we've got to account for the fact the arms are going to be sticking. We're going to build arms into this area as well, but I think the hat is almost a fair reflection. I think it could be made a little bit more round. Okay, yeah, I think that's okay. And actually, because this is coming out and round, we need to change this curve, I feel, here, to actually give that sort of curve round to make it look like it's going over rather than going in and up around the sides. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to get our paint pencil, and we're going to select the lighter colour, and we are going to bring that in. Okay, and again with this one as well, we're just going to sort of paint that over. Okay, give the impression it's going over the top. Just paint those down, gives the idea, gives the feeling that it's dropping. And then if we go back out, hopefully that will feel a little bit better. And then obviously we need to do that for the other side, but what we're going to do is we're going to merge these layers. In fact, no, what we're going to do, I do apologise, what we're going to do is we're going to select these painted elements, push Ctrl Shift and no, not Ctrl Shift, Ctrl X. Obviously we have accidentally painted them onto the wrong one, and we're going to push Ctrl V. Oh no, we're not going to undo that. Push Ctrl Shift V, that'll paste it in exactly the same spot, and then we're going to go to merge layers. Okay, in addition, we are just going to paint this part up as well. Gives it just a little bit better flow. Cool. And then what we're going to do is hide our other half, and we're going to delete that, and this time we're going to duplicate this again. Control T, and hopefully that is going to be our nice flow. Yep, absolutely. And what we're going to do then is just make these a little bit more round. Okay, so we're going to just hide that. We're going to work on this layer. And what should we do? Okay, so we'll just bring this in. Obviously we need to ensure that we keep the same height. So what we're going to do is paint it just off that. And hopefully that will make it appear more circular. Okay, it still needs to be brought back out over here, doesn't it? So B for brush, E for eraser, remember. We're going to bring that there, bring that there. E for eraser, delete that, and I think that's cool. I just want to bring this in slightly so it doesn't feel as chunky. And I'm wondering actually if we make these the actual colour of that, it should make it that little bit more believable that this is actually forming over, and I think it actually does, doesn't it? Okay, cool. So what we can do is, yeah, so sorry, I will say as well, I made a couple of changes between this and last tutorial. I made it a little bit bigger, and I added some of these dots in to give the idea that that's fading up, and I did give some spots on the red as well, just to give it a bit more detail. I should have said that at the start, I do apologise. Okay, so I think now we've got that shape sort of worked out. I think the peak of the hat's actually going to be too big once we copy it over, so we'll take that down to 1, and I think I'm fairly happy with that. I think now it's just a case of placing our arms in, so we're just going to take this darker colour, and we are literally just going to bring that down, so that's a shadow. Then we're going to take our lighter colour, again bring that down, and then we're going to take our skin colour, and we are going to paint around that to give the impression that the hand is there. And if we remove that away, I think that's kind of cool. We just need to help smooth that slightly. And I think we'll paint our clothing back under that. So we've got the handprint, we've got the arm there, ready for when we sort of do our animation later. Although it does feel as though this isn't the shadow, it's actually the outline. So I think what we're going to do is just paint that like that. If we zoom out, that's looking better. Okay, and now just looking at the front of his hat as well, I think actually we need to remove those two, and I think that's okay. Right, so okay, I'm going to delete our previous copy. I'm going to duplicate our new one by dragging it down to the new layer button, which will duplicate it. Then push Ctrl T to get transform, and then push minus in front of the 100 at the top to change that. And what we're going to do is just slide this across, push enter, and then we're just going to okay, somehow we've gained an extra line copied, which is a bit strange. So Okay, I'm going to delete that. We'll bring this across. Control T, minus 100. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now looking at this, as we can see, the arm is a little bit too up here, so we are going to need to readjust that. So again, you know, it's just taking your time, trial and error, just ensuring that we are actually copying it the way we need to. So I'm going to try and bring the arm around a little bit over this way to make it feel like the socket's over here. I'm just going to paint the arm there. Yeah, and I think that's looking a lot better now. So again, we'll go back and delete, and then we'll duplicate it again, Control T. I mean, the good thing about this as well, gets used to working when you come to model characters in 3D, where you will work on half of the character and duplicate it, just to see how that's going. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with that, I think. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So what we need to do now is just fix the shadow on the opposing side that we duplicated. So I'm just going to slide my original piece over, just so we can get those colours. And we won't pick darkest, we'll pick this medium. We've already used that, haven't we? Sure, there's another one. There we go. And then what we're going to do is wrangle out on our duplicated layer and start to paint those on. So we're going to paint, yes, this is the lighter part onto this lighter part. We're going to hide our original one as well, sorry. Then we're going to reveal it again, just Shift X changes our colours down here. And with the second colour, I'm going to change it to the dark one. And then we should just be able to paint now. And push Shift and Z, and it will change automatically. Yep. Oh, Shift X I should say, not Shift Z. If we paint that on, X, and then we can paint the arm on. Oh. And again, that's the lighter one. Yep. It's just a case of just painting them down. Remember to lift the pen off, otherwise when you click undo it will literally undo everything that you've done. So paint those down, and now we've got our overall shape. That's what we need. Shift X, and that allows us to get this other colour. Control Shift Z, undo. You can just bring this round. Oh, I'm not a massive fan of actually having it that dark there, so we will probably fix that up later, because it's a bit too dark. I just want to make sure we've got a nice sort of clean shape. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what we're going to do is actually this blue, paint this blue in here. No, actually, sorry, we're going to paint this into this area. Do Shift X. Oh, brush mode. P. Shift X. Alt. Select that. Now we've got these two, and then this one will go here. So we are going to lighten it up, otherwise the character will be far too dark all over, which is what we don't want. So Shift X then, and then we can lighten this side up. At the back I'm going to keep it as the start one, because obviously that's going to be in the no shadow. Actually no, I am doing this the completely wrong way around. Look, sorry. So the light is hitting here, which means this would be the darkest part. So I'm just going to continue to paint this in this colour, and then I was right, but we didn't need this shadow here. This one would be probably the darkest part, or it would be at the back at least. So let's go ahead and paint the back in the darkest colour. And actually this one would fall around here. This would perhaps fall down this front area somewhat, and then okay, that's looking better. So again, on this side now, we need to bring this forward, bring this shadow round, get that sense of volume, and then this side would need to be, so if we paint that like that, paint inside the arm there, because obviously the light's hitting down that way, and yeah, okay, that should be looking a little bit better now. Okay, cool. So once we've got that, I think we're ready now to start adding in some more of these actual stones that go on top. So we'll start with that neutral colour. Now what we want to try and do is line up where we have had these previously, and we're going to select these two layers, sorry, and we're going to merge them, and then we're going to move that, swing that over. We do have a loose pixel there, not sure where it's from, but it's obviously been painted on the wrong layer, so we'll just delete that. Now we do want to line these up, so let's take a look at the front. So we've got one right in the middle around here, so again we're just going to get our pencil tool, wrong layout, sure we're on the right one. Actually it's quite big, so we are going to, what we want to do is try and keep it offset actually, and that should allow us then to paint stars. So we are at an angle, so we do want to give it some form of tip. Okay. Again, we do have one then slightly this side. And got one down here, it's sort of it's diagonal, and there's more than one top over here. Once we get to this angle, we can start really making them look interesting, because we can go diagonally rather than straight on, and got a couple of sort of dots painted in. Yeah, cool. And then we just got to sort of paint these parts on. Cool, and then what we're going to do is just paint some shadow. Now these ones at the back won't probably have as much light on because they're in shade, remember. And obviously these ones will actually be lighting up from there. So now again, moving around, we can start to add on some of our own. So we've got some at the back. We might want to include this big one here, right at this corner. So we do have that one in the back there. Okay, and now we just want to paint ones on this side. We just have to remember that when we flip this side over to get the other side, that we at the very end we'll do that. That we just line up where we create them. So I think we'll have sort of a one here. We've got room for a smaller one there. One at this lower back again, and yep, so now it's just a case of painting a little bit of shadow. Although it is similar, we don't want it to be exactly the same because obviously we'll lose that sort of illusion that we've built. And let's take a look actually if that would be better. Yeah, so let's sort of zoom out, take a look at those. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. I just wonder if it would be better if we made them round or no. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just add some more of these fluctuations that have came in. And it's going to hide our previous layer. Bring this back across to the middle. Just check that it's lined up. Yep. And cool. I think we're just going to make the other side of the face a little darker. And that light comes round. Go back to our pencil tool. And we're going to hide that. And just going to make our hand a little bit bigger. Again, we're just going to hang up. And yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Have our sort of mushroom shape where we're going around. I still feel that it's a little bit squared, so what we're going to do is was that making it more square? I think probably here we need to take these two back actually erase that corner. Yep, so erase that corner, swap to brush. Yeah, cool, and now it's looking hopefully a little bit rounder. Yeah, and what we're just going to do actually is take this a little bit further up. Oh. There. Okay, so I think I'm fairly happy with that. Yeah, okay, so let's just compare it in comparison with our other pieces. I've just noticed there is a slight pixel missing down here that could be painted in. Okay, I'm just wondering actually if these need to be swapped, which I think they might do, and following with So what we're going to do is I'm going to paint this dark just to leave us the impression of where we need to paint our next one. We're going to paint this in this blue. I'm then going to paint this in a very light blue. We're then going to paint these with this. And then obviously we're going to paint this here and that. Then very light blue on the arm. And let's just see how that looks. That feels better, but I do want to just bring okay, cool. Control S to save your work, remember, and Control Shift C, and we'll just check how it is on the sprite sheet. So we can delete our old previous one. Yeah, cool. I think the hat is looking a little bit big, and so is the body, I think, actually. So yeah, it's looking a little bit big, so I think what we're going to have to do is, I don't mind the hat looking a little bit bigger, but we are certainly going to have to let's take a look. Yep, I think actually what we're going to have to do is maybe take the body in a little bit. Okay, but we are looking down, we are looking at a different angle, which means we are seeing a lot more of the shape and volume than what we normally would. So yeah, actually I think we'll leave it. I think it's okay. I think it's workable. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. If we need to make it smaller, we'll make it smaller. Okay, so in the next tutorial, we're gonna look at how we can repurpose the two poses we've made to create the back and create the front. So cool. I will see you there, and hopefully by then I would have made a decision as to whether this is suitable at the size it is or not. Okay, I'll see you.